Today we'll be going over triangle angle sums. When you add up three angles of a triangle, the sum will always be 180 degrees. Make sure I actually have that. Degrees. A right triangle will always have one angle whose measure is 90 degrees. So in this case, if this were a right angle, a right triangle, then our measure of angle C would be 90. We wouldn't have to worry about it explaining anything else as long as it's stated that it is a right triangle. An isosceles triangle will always have two angles with equal measures that are base angles. The third angle is called the vertex. So if we were to look at this triangle on the side, isosceles means that two sides are the same length, which also implies that the angles are the same value. We show that with the arcs, the part circles. And then our third angle at the top is our vertex, the angle that is not the same as the other two. Now, ways we can use these ideas we'll go over shortly. In example 1, it says find the measure of the angles of the triangle. We already know what the vertex is. It shows it as 110, and this is an isosceles triangle because our base angles are the exact same value. So we can go through the equation. Showing that I'm going to add three different, why is that a different size? There we go. Three different angles that add up to equal 180. So up until this point we've been only adding two angles. Now dealing with triangles, we're going to be adding three angles. In this case, however I want to label it, this could be my first angle, second angle, and third angle. Make sure you actually label which angle is which before you start filling in everything. We know that measure of angle 1 is 110. The measure of angle 2 is x. And the measure of angle 3 is also x. And we will say this equals 180 still. Now that I have all the variables filled in, I can start getting away from the colors, showing what I'm doing. I'm going to combine like terms. That still leaves me with 110. My x plus x is now 2x. And this will equal 180 still. Now I have a two-step equation where I have to subtract the 110 from both sides. Which will leave me with 70. And then I divide 2 on both sides, which will give me 35. Now, since this is only x, there's nothing else to the expression, I can leave my answer for both angles as x equals 35 degrees. Getting back into some word problems to set everything up. It says the measure of one angle of a right triangle is less than triple the measure of the third angle. So if we try to draw a picture real quick, this is telling us we do have a right triangle. That means that this angle is 90. The rest of the expression says that that one angle, which we already know the first one, so we'll say this is measure of angle 2, our word is setting up the equation. 18 less than means I'm going to be subtracting 18 from a value, and that value is triple the measure of the third angle. So this lets me know that I'm subtracting 18. This lets me know that I'm going to have 3 times my third angle. Oops, not 2. And then the equal sign, of course, is our equal, or the is our equals. So if I write out that equation, I have the measure of angle 2 is our triple the measure of angle 3 and the 18 less than, putting it in the proper order. So knowing that I'm going to kind of run out of space, this is where an extra sheet of paper always comes in handy. I'm going to use the rule of a triangle equal 180 degrees. Give myself a little shortcut. There we go. So our first angle was the right angle, the 90. My measure of angle 2, I can now replace with this expression. And we're not changing the measure of angle 3 at all. And this all still equals 180. So our unknown variable, the one that we are going to be solving for, will be our measure of angle 3. And once we have that, we can figure out what the measure of angle 2 is. So we go through the process. I can combine like terms. This is one variable. The 3 and the 1 combine to be 4 when I'm referring to the measure of angle 3. And this still equals 180. So this is similar to our last problem where we combined the two x's. This time we combined, excuse me, the 3 of our measure of angle 3 and the 1 measure of angle 3. Now we have the same process where we're going to subtract 90 from both sides. And then we need to divide by 4. So this lets us find out our measure of angle 3. which now we can find out what the measure of angle 2 is by plugging in the 22.5. Twenty-two point five times 3 minus 18 gives us 49.5. So that is the second example. Now our other ones are set up the same way, where we are given a triangle, we're given a comparison, an equation from one angle to another, or in this case two of them, and then we're supposed to find our missing angle. But we still follow the same steps. Our main equation is adding up all three angles to equal 180, and then whatever the expressions tell us is what we can replace in there to get one variable left.